Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. I'm Clay, and today we're gonna talk about Exo-Suit Spike from the Transformers Studio86 series. There we go. There is the packaging for Studio Exo-Suit Spike Witwicky. So you can see here we've got the normal Studio series packaging, no plastic window in the front, which means, you know, little kids can put their snotty little fingers on your toy before you buy it. I'm not saying that automatically happens, but it could happen. We see some artwork on the top, and you know, the artwork, I always really like the artwork. I guess maybe that just goes back to when I was a kid, and you always saw that really cool forced perspective artwork that they would have on the Transformers boxes. It's a tradition, and you know, this is a nice rendition of Spike in his exosuit, and it's not an image that you see very often. Of course, we've got the logo on the front, we've got the Transformers logos and stuff on the bottom of the package, and we've got a close-up of the head, which admittedly the face is kind of doing dull surprise here. You know, there's a little bit of oh hey, I'm Spike, I'm in an exosuit. I mean, hey, I'm alarmed about something, but not super alarmed. And on the other side, we have the artwork, you know, showing the full body of the exosuit. And again, you know, this is where it actually looks its best, because you're getting to see that you know, all the machinery of the suit in dynamic proportions. And then on the back we have a whole bunch of blurry gobbledygook here. Let's get the gobbledygook in focus. There, that's important gobbledygook. More importantly, we have product images, and that's about it. The Studio86 packaging is fine, but it's not great. It's okay. Yeah, it's just I don't know, for whatever reason it never strikes me as all that exciting. So there you go, and here is the guy, and let's take a look. And boy, there's a lot of white on white there. Let's turn down the exposure, shall we? Because I want to be able to see this guy. There we go. We'll make things just a little bit darker so that we can see the figure. We've got some effects pieces here. So yeah, it comes with little fire that can stick on there, or it can well, you know, it doesn't actually stick on here, even though it looks like it should. It doesn't really stick anywhere else. So you can put your effects pieces there. The nice thing is that they hold themselves on pretty nicely. You know, in some cases, the effects pieces don't always want to hang on, but I guess since these are little, they don't weigh too much. They're not stressing that little nub out. So you know, you're less of a chance to lose them if they're not falling off all the time. Now, looking at the figure itself, it's a good representation of the exosuit as seen in Transformers the movie. You know, all of it checks all the boxes. You have the arms extended out, you know, sort of awkwardly, but that's something that gives this exosuit a lot of its uniqueness. The fact that it doesn't have human-like proportions. It has this sort of weird arm assembly, and I for one like it. I think that that it makes the exosuit kind of unique, especially since later on in the Transformers franchise, exosuits would really just look like small robots or just people in armor. So yeah, that's cool. You also have the ability to sort of, you know, simulate the gun by maybe swinging this plastic piece back and swinging that around and doing that, and you can be like, it's like, wait, I don't have a gun. Use your exosuit. and then he shoots a giant acid cover and saves his father's life. Except, you know, this is Spike, not Daniel. Although honestly, let's just take a look here. As if there's enough detail on that face to be able to tell which one it is. I guess Spike has the darker hair, maybe. And see, it's really hard to focus in on that through the plastic. But yeah, there's not a lot of detail on that face, but I appreciate that they do have a face there. Another thing that this has going for it is you can actually get the little face to look in different directions. There's a little switch on the back here, and so you can just move this little slider back and forth, and that causes the back of, you know, that causes the head to rotate. And from here you can see, oh my gosh, there's a gaping hole in the back of his head, and it's not even like colored in. You know, it's just a big square hole. Let's try, and we're never going to get the camera to focus in on that. Maybe if I put my fingers at the same depth so that it focuses on my fingers. Maybe. No, now it doesn't want to focus in on anything. The camera hates this. The camera just hates this. Yeah. So there we go. We've got it focused in on my finger, and so you can see the hole in the back of the head. I get it. Yeah, you know, the head is a single injection molded piece. They didn't make a plug for it. They figured, hey, you know what? It's on the back. Just don't look there. It's distracting from the back. Yeah, it is really, because even other Transformers characters, you know, other core class Transformers characters don't usually have a big obvious open gaping hole. You know, that's I get why it's there. I wish it weren't there. I'm not going to ding them too bad because of it, but it is really noticeable. So you know, look at it from the front. Just look at it from the front, and you know, I'd almost rather they had maybe put a little paint detail on the back here so that you can't see through the back half of the dome or something like that. I know, you know, I don't know. There's that's just not very good. But it is what it is. I understand why. But I don't have to like it. So we've got that. But the rest of the back detail, I mean, from the back, this actually looks pretty good. It even has like the rocket boosters, which again, okay, I'm just saying that if they had a couple nubs, this would be another great place to have these effects pieces, and they don't go there. I want them. I want to be able to do this. Look at how cool that would look. Wait, here. Look at how cool this would be if he had, like, you know, rockets, you know, like fire coming out of the backs. I can't show you because they don't want to stay. They don't want to stay because there's no little peg there. There should be a peg there. And once again, it would be hard for them to add a peg because this is molded from, you know, it's molded. Wait, here, let me get this out of the way. So that part would be molded with a mold half here and a mold half here. So it's sandwiching it this way. So in a two-part mold, the only way that they would be able to get a nub there, and you know, honestly, they could have done this, really, is to have a little opening in the plastic right under here so that the mold would be able to reach a nub right there. So they could have done that. They could have just done a knockout, and yeah, I think that's called a core out, where they open up the part to allow the mold to get through to another part and have something that otherwise would be an undercut. So yeah, they could have done that, but they didn't. And again, you know, just a little bit of a missed opportunity. It doesn't ruin the toy, but it's just it's a missed opportunity, you know, like you have jets here, you have fire. Come on, guys. Do I have to think of everything? So yeah, we'll just put that right on there since it's the only place that those can go. And we'll flip around his hands, and then, you know, you have some gaps in the back of the leg, which, you know, it's a core class figure. There's gaps. It's we get gaps in Transformers these days. And I guess at some point, if somebody makes an upgrade kit for this that has some gap fillers, that would help this toy, you know, especially if they had a gap filler for the back of the head. And you know, if that happens, then I may just have to get that just to be able to show on this channel how to take this apart and get that clear dome off and put in the pieces, which I suspect is actually probably not that hard. I haven't tried it because I don't have anything to fill that, but it is what it is. There's some stuff. There's some rolly wheels here. Rolly wheels are nice. And there's some rolly wheels on the shoulder. In terms of articulation, I already showed you that we actually do have a pivoting head, and that's clever. You know, for as much as I may ding them slightly for not taking advantages of all the places that they could put the effects pieces that are included, they did go the extra mile and put in a very neat way for the guy to be able to look around. And they didn't have to. You know, that's something that if they had left that out, I would have never thought, oh, they should have had this. They could have put a lever in the back. I would have never said that. So, you know, whatever points I took off because they didn't put a little nub that could fit an effects piece here or there, add that many points back on because they did add this. So there we go. You know, they get their points back. All right, it's good to get your points back. We have the hinge here, which allows the arm to move forward and back. Is this the forearm? Does this count as a forearm? Or is that just like the extension of the shoulder and he doesn't get a forearm? I don't know. I'm going to call it a forearm. So you can sort of move the forearm back and forth. And honestly, actually, if you wanted it to have a little bit more human-like articulation, then you could do this. You know, you could absolutely move these back and then pivot it at the shoulder. And then, you know, now he's looking a little bit more human proportion in his exosuit. And, you know, that's not a bad thing either. You know, a lot of it's because of the way they make it transform. But hey, it's extra points of articulation, and I like extra points of articulation. We have sort of an elbow joint-ish right there, and we have the pivot here, and then we also have the pivot down here. The fist is just molded in. You don't do anything with the fist, but the arms have a lot of really good movement, which adds a lot to the toy. There is no waist rotation. You know, this is all one piece, so you're not going to be able to do that, but you do have fully functional hip joints that actually are, they work a lot better than they look like they should. You know, he can do the splits, he can get into a run, he can kick, he can do that. So the hip joints are actually very nicely designed, and all the joints on here are nice and tight. He's not floppy at all, so that's another good thing that's going on. We actually have a double joint here at the knee. There's the joint at the knee, which also has a swivel because it's just a ball joint. And then we have another joint here for the transform that kind of allows it to do that. So if you wanted Spike to be able to transform into RC's head, then there well, wait here. I guess the way that it would go is, well, this would have to go around here. Okay, yeah. So So there we go. We can absolutely do the headmaster transform just like that. And all you'd have to do is have like RC's face right there, and this would be able to do that. You know, plug that into a pair of giant robot shoulders, and there you go. I guess since this is Spike, he would turn into Cerebros's head, not RC's head, but that was a different exosuit. So yeah, we've got that. The figure itself is actually a pretty nice little figure. It looks the part. You know, it looks the part, and that's sort of what we're going for with a studio series. Now, it's easy to want to compare this to the Exo-Suit, I guess it's Daniel, that came with Studio Series Slug, and we have that right here. You can see that the core class version is a little bit bigger, and it has a head, whereas they just have this. It's opaque. And, you know, it's really just an exosuit. You could say it's Daniel. You could say it's Spike. You could say it's Burko from the Marvel comic book. You know, I mean, it can be anybody in there. It could be Carly. Who knows? But this figure, of course, is not really a figure. It's, you know, you can sort of like get it to stand maybe by putting it in sort of a running position, but it's not really terribly playable because of the fact that the knees are locked in this permanent bend. He is pretty much designed to just sit there. Yeah, you sit there, and it's like, hey, son, do you want to stand up? And Daniel can be like, nope, not doing it, Dad. I'm gonna sit here. It's like, well, you know, what's wrong? Are your knees broken? And he says, never worked at all. So, you know, as a better version of this is hands down. I mean, absolutely, it is a million times better than the little pack-in exosuit that came with Slug, but it of course has more features than just having knee joints. Yeah, it also transforms, at least, you know, sort of. So let's take a look here. The transform is. It is what it is. Yeah, we're gonna get there. So what you do is you have the legs go forward, and then you use that little extra joint that they have right there, and then you spin these around and spin that around, and then you see there's a little tab here and a slot there. Those are going to go together to just stick the feet together like that. And then you're going to rotate the shoulders so that these wheels go forward. And we'll do that on the other side. And then you're going to spin the arm around, bring the forearm down, and you're going to bring the arms along the side with these in the up position. And I'll do the same thing on this side. So the forearm is going to go down next to his side. The blue part of the arm is going to rotate so that the long portion is towards the back of the quote-unquote vehicle. And then the last step here is to spin the white portion of the arms around. And then there's actually a little knockout right here where this joint is. You see that right in there? And that is... Oh, my camera does not want to look at it. Come on, camera. You can do this. It's right in the middle. You can do it. You know, it'll look at it. It just really wants to focus in on my, like, the palm of my hand in the background. Come on, camera, work with me. There we go. So we have this opening here, and that is going to line up with this part of the hip of the body. And those are just going to go together right like that. That's going to align everything. And so here is the vehicle. Oh, wait, one last thing. We have to rotate this. There we go. We rotate this. That way you're not looking at the hole in the back of the head. That's really what I think that's for. It's like when he's in his little car mode, they didn't want you staring at that hole, so they had this twist. Because, you know, it's not like the original version. If you look at Transformers the movie, it doesn't do that. But actually, in Transformers the movie, you don't get a whole lot of views of this vehicle mode, but the views that you do get, they don't look like that. I have the Masterpiece version that came with Masterpiece Bumblebee, and this is actually a pretty good approximation of what was on screen in Transformers the movie. You know, essentially everything kind of went together into one boxy form. Now in the movie they showed the wheels as being much bigger and knobbier. You know, they were like big round balloon tires, and you had a smaller sort of balloon tire in the front, and that would be cool, but that's not what we've got here. What we've got here is we've got just, you know, some small wheels. They're fine. They're you know, it's still a decent vehicle mode. The only thing that I don't like about this vehicle is that in order to get these fenders, they actually open up these panels which destroy the illusion of there being a rest of the body under here. There is no rest of the body. It's like, whoa, he is just a decapitated head. And so a lot of times when I use this one, I will actually keep these closed, which is a little less movie accurate, but also doesn't shatter the illusion of this being a suit that contains a human who has not had to go through any kind of surgery in order to wear this exosuit. So, you know, but in either case, this is actually a pretty good representation of the Exo-Suits transformation in Transformers the movie. This, you know, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. It's got some wheels here, it's got some wheels there, and then they use these as jets that would, you know, propel it. It kind of looks a little bit. It looks less like a vehicle mode and more like a go-kart. You know, I feel like it just. I don't know, because you just have these wheels sticking down here and you don't even see these wheels. I mean, they're there, they roll well, but you don't really see them. You just have a little bit of molded in detail here. It really doesn't look like something that would power through on a planet's surface. It looks like something that you'd fire these rockets and then it would destroy itself. Now, that being said, you can do anything you want with it. I mean, it's not difficult to put these down closer to the body and sort of fill in the emptiness there, and then do something like this. You know, that to me is not quite as bad. I wish that the feet weren't so obviously feet. You know, I feel like they went to the trouble of having this extra hinge here, you know, this little piece here. And what they could have done is just allowed the knee joint to move backwards and not done this. You know, they would have, you know, it would have put this a little bit lower, and then maybe use their extra piece to fold in the feet so that they're not quite so obviously feet. I would have loved if the wheels inside here had flipped around and gone to the outside so that it had some big knobby tires sticking on it. But you know, they didn't do that. They kind of took some liberties with the vehicle mode, and honestly, since it's a completely fantastical vehicle mode, you know, it doesn't have any basis in reality. The only thing that we have to go off of from what this vehicle mode is supposed to be is the images that we got in Transformers the movie. So it's you know, it's just a different interpretation of the vehicle. It's and I guess if you're thinking, well, it's supposed to be Studio86, it's supposed to be more screen accurate, it's not that. That's the bottom line. You transform it, and it's really not. It's not a screen accurate. It's not screen accurate in any way. Can you get past that? That's really not for me to tell. I mean, you may look at this and say, no, look, he's got jets on the back. That's cool. You know, I can see the wheels in the front. He rolls as rolling things are supposed to do. You know, hi there, freaking geek. But does it look as much like this one? No, it doesn't. And granted, this is a masterpiece. We also have the version of the Exo-Suit that came with Buzzworthy Bumblebee, which originally this suit was had 3 points of articulation. It had the arms, and it had this little backpack joint right here. I added, because I found it a little frustrating that it had no other points of articulation, so I cut the I cut the legs apart, and I cut the thighs apart, and I added like a very skinny screw right there, and I added some wire pins in the knees so that he's got thigh joints and knee joints, and he can sit and he can run and he can do things, which makes me like this a lot better. Now, this is not, come on camera, you can do it. This is not a super screen accurate version of the Exo-Suit either. The shoulders are tight to the body, more like human armor than the Exo-Suit shown in Transformers the movie. But it is a reasonable approximation. And what I will say that this has going for it, aside from the one-step transformation of the original thing where it's like, okay, you have it in Exo-Suit mode, and then you just fold this panel this way, and now you've got your little vehicle mode. And the vehicle mode is as serviceable as it's gonna be. I cannot get the camera. Come on, camera. You can do this. You can do this. There we go. So there you have your little vehicle mode, and it's fine. I mean, this is effectively a mini-con at this point, and even though I do appreciate having larger size versions of the Exo-Suit just for playworthiness. In terms of scale, which, in the Transformers world, scale. What do we look like? The GoBots? We don't have consistent scale. No. I mean, honestly, GoBots didn't either, but they were better about it than Transformers. No, a mini-con sized Exo-Suit is going to fit better in with the other Transformers. It is going to be a better representation of a human character interacting with these giant robot characters. Something like this, walking around with your other Autobots, that's a big human. Like that's a big human. That is, yeah, and you can imagine, you can be like, well, actually the human is only this much of the exosuit. Sure. But yeah, I would say that something like this is actually a little bit better in terms of representing that. Now, I have seen other versions, and I even have other versions, where, like with, I believe that it was with the HasCon exclusive RC that came with, it had the Headmaster feature. It was a retool of, let's see, it would be Titan Masters or Titans Returns Blur. And what they did is, rather than just having a frosted dome here, they cast it in clear plastic, and then they had a face molded in from the back, and they painted the inside so that it looked like a face behind a dome. Now, yeah, there was a hole in the back, but I for a little tiny guy like that, I thought that was fine. I actually thought that was a really cool creative solution to having to have a human head in a dome. So and for that matter, I mean, I guess they could have done something like that with this, where instead of having a little injection molded head and then having a separate clear piece, maybe this could have been two clear pieces sandwiched together, each with a head, the reverse of a head, like the front half of a head and the back half of the head, and then those are painted and put together and inserted in, and then you just pivot it this way. That's another way that they could have done it, and then you don't get the big gaping hole in the back of the head like you do on this figure. So yeah, there are all sorts of ways to interpret this, and I will say that when I got this and I transformed it, I was disappointed. This transform doesn't do it for me. It does not do it for me. A lot of times I'll have it in this mode here, just because I kind of like that better. But it's your toy. You do you. You do how you want to do it. And since I do have a version that's very similar in size and does have a very movie accurate transform, then did I need a second version that's cheaper that does the exact same thing? Maybe that's it. Maybe variety is okay. I'm just gonna say that that for me personally, when I do it like this, I'm just not. It's okay. It's turn it back into the Exo-Suit and enjoy it this way. That I guess that's what I need to do. I need to turn it back into the Exo-Suit version of the little dude and enjoy that I've got a little Exo-Suit version of the little dude, and this is pretty cool. Like you have it in this form. It's good. It looks good. It plays well. Good articulation. Some fun effects pieces that actually don't fall off all the time and don't get in the way. And if anything, I just wish I could stick them more places. So yeah. That's it. Am I going to give this a huge recommend? I'm not going to give it a huge recommend. I would say that that certainly if you are a Gen 1 fan and you like Transformers the movie, and especially if you don't have one of these, then if you don't have this and you don't have some third-party version, then this is like $10. And, for completion's sake, this is a great version of the Exo-Suit used in the movie. So from that standpoint, yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is worth your $10. It's just not my. They just did things that I, there's just that, I just wish they would have, that's where I'm at with it. All right, so if you like this review, then give this video a thumbs up. Maybe consider joining or subscribing to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you know when we're doing more of these Short Circuits reviews, as well as our live streams, which typically happen every Friday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern United States time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern United States time. Also, if you're in a position to help the channel grow, we do have a Patreon. There are many different levels with different rewards. Ways of us saying thank you for helping, because it really does help. And with that being said, wait for it. Retrobot is busy right now. I think he's sunbathing or something. So I guess I have to do the Unicron thank you. So here we go. Thank you from Unicron. Unicron, take it away.
Thank you to our patrons, our ultimate retro heroes. Fetch Beer, Robus, Matt White, Starhound, Setsune Wave, Dawn, Hope and Michael D. Thank you. Now, would somebody please get me a human? I am in the mood to consume some humans. They look quite tasty. Organic material is kind of a delicacy here in deep space. Lots of comments and stardust. I want to eat a human.
Okay, thank you, Unicron, for that somewhat disturbing thank you to our patrons. So, that's it! Studio86 Core Class Spike Witwicky. He's this. And there's things I like about him. There's things I don't like about him. But now you've seen all those things, so if you see him in the store, you know what to expect. And if you choose to buy it and you say, oh, wait, I didn't like him after all, it's not my fault. I already told you. And if you buy it and you say, no, he's great, what are you complaining about? I humbly apologize for complaining about something that made you happy. Because ultimately, I want you to be happy. That's really what this video is about. I want you to be happy. I want you to make choices that will make you happy and go in informed. So now you're informed and you can make that choice and make yourself happy. This is Clay telling you to keep it Retrobot. Yeah. And we got Spike in an Exo-Suit, because everybody wants a Spike in an Exo-Suit. And honestly, when I was a kid, I wanted a Spike in an Exo-Suit. I even made a little Spike in an Exo-Suit. I should have shown that on camera. But probably in my parts bin. I'm not sure. It wasn't very good, admittedly. It had, like, little twist ties for guns. It was tiny. It was a little thing. But, That's what I did. Maybe I'll show it during a live stream. I don't know. Anything can happen. It's a wacky channel. Things happen.